In the summer of 2014, Victor was riding his motorcycle in northern Kazakhstan, but he never got to his destination because all of a sudden he fell asleep on the motorcycle and fell. 4 days later, he gets woken up in the hospital. When they ask him, "How did you fall? What happened?" Victor wouldn't remember a thing. This wasn't the first time this had happened. There's a village in northern Kazakhstan called Kalachi. This village has been on the news since 2014 and it's become very well known by now because there is a weird disease going around in this village, and the disease is all of a sudden people just fall asleep. Not like they're gonna wake up in a couple minutes or couple hours. They will sleep for days, just like Victor on the motorcycle, where he all of a sudden fell asleep. Another weird part is that any of these villagers that wake up, they don't remember why they fell asleep and where. After all of this happening, a lady named Taisia, which was a 46-year-old woman, said she's been experiencing this disease since 2012. She thought it was just her. She would say whenever she fell asleep, she would sometimes sleep for 4 days. And my family were extremely worried about me, but she wouldn't know how long she's sleeping. And also, she would wake up in the hospital usually, because her family thought she was in a coma and took her to the hospital. Slowly but surely, this disease found its way everywhere on this village, and people there all of a sudden just fell asleep. And it didn't matter where they were. Anywhere they were, they would fall asleep. We saw in the middle of the road on a motorcycle, middle of driving. One of them went to the pool, and in the middle of swimming, he falls asleep. If there was no one around to help, they might have died. Around 1/5 of the population in this village, from babies to old people, got this disease. Some people that remembered said before we fell asleep, my legs couldn't hold me up anymore. And I also got dizzy, and I got the really sleepy feeling and I wanted to sleep. People that explain these stories are around 1% of them. 99% of people say we don't remember a thing, and we don't know how we fell asleep. The family of these sleepers say when they fall asleep, they don't understand a thing, but they show reaction to sounds. Their eyes are closed and sleeping, but if you call them, they turn their head towards you, and you can tell in the sleep they can hear you. The doctors that work with these patients say when they wake up, it feels like they just came from a deep coma and they're extremely dizzy and can't even say a word. This weird disease got to the animals as well. A lot of people would say our cats sleep for days. After 1/5 of the population in this village and some animals got this disease, some people in the village had to leave and they went to the cities nearby. But a lot of people still stayed in Kalachi. This disease really made scientists think. They first thought this was a brain problem, but they quickly realized that's wrong. To figure this out, a lot of scientists entered Kalachi to figure out what actually is going on. They ran 7,000 different tests on the water, on the soil, on the plants, the blood and hair of the people that live there. They looked for viruses, radioactive pollution, radio waves. But the more they looked, the less they understood. After a lot of research, they realized that 2 kilometers away from Kalachi, there's an old uranium mine. And from itself, it releases argon gas. But that's weird, cause the waves from this gas should damage your organs, not make you fall asleep. But the Kazakhstan people didn't believe anybody from Kalachi. They said because their village is in such a bad spot, they're making up a lie so they can move out of there. It's good to know that countries that used to be in Soviet Union, you couldn't just move from the city you were living with. You still have to get permission, and those rules are still around today in those countries. But a lot of people from Kalachi said we don't want to leave this place. And the people that actually moved out there, they were in the nearby towns, so they didn't get very far, and they weren't allowed to go any farther. But scientists still did their research until Viktor Kryakov showed up. And he said the uranium mine is causing all these sleepings. Because a uranium mine, not only does it produce argon, it also produces carbon monoxide. He also said that uranium itself doesn't cause carbon monoxide, but a uranium mine causes carbon monoxide. A lot of people still didn't believe, because this mine has been closed for over 20 years after the fall of the Soviet Union. Why haven't we been sleeping for over 20 years now? Uranium mines are usually in mountainous areas, and Kalachi is kind of mountainous. After a lot of tests, these theories came out, and they said after the fall of the Soviets, this mine was closed, and they left this mine as is. And because it was in a mountainous area, all the holes and tunnels filled up with rainwater, meaning 20 years worth of rain entered this mine, and the tunnels went over 2,000 feet underground, and that caused the water pressure to be extremely high. This much water and all that carbon monoxide gas in there acted like a soda bottle that you shook and opened the cap. All the gas escapes, but the liquid stays down. And this gas was the breathable air for the Kalachi people. This has been for sure proven that this gas causes people to sleep. This gas can also make people die, and that is why in most homes there's a carbon monoxide detector. And this is an alarm to detect any carbon monoxide inside your house and tell you to leave. People eventually believed what they were saying in Kalachi, and the sleeping was real. They led everybody in Kalachi to move out of that town so they can fix the issue in the mine. Soviets did all these dangerous works in countries that are not Russia, countries that are far away from Moscow and are not even Russian people there. What do you guys think?